This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, one and all. Today I would like to explain one more topic in Ambience subject, Unit 1, that is about memory. Right? So these are the topics of today's class: memory segmentation, programming model, memory addresses, physical memory organization. So about this memory segmentation, I was already covered in the last class, register organization. We explain about code segment register, data segment registers, extra segment registers, and stack segment registers. I was explained already. Once again, we will see little bit about this memory segment. So along with that, we will see what is programming model, what is memory addresses, and what is physical memory organization. Right. So these are the topics today. These topics are mainly related to memory. So what is a memory and all we will see. But in the 2019 May, they asked one question for the regular students: how to calculate the physical memory of 8086 with one example. Right? Explain memory physical memory calculation with one example of any segment register that I'll show you. Right. So these are the topics we have discussed so far: introduction, basics of digital and all. In the last class, I was explaining about the flag registry in 8086. Right. So as you know already, 8086 is having so many features compared to 8085, but here highlighted only registers. It has 14 registers. Each register width is 16 bit. Right. So this is about the registers in one line. And here the 14 registers. The 14 registers are grouped into 5 types: general purpose registers, index registers, segment registers, point registers, and status registers. So segment registers are also having instruction pointer along with that, because code segment and instruction pointer are interlinked. Okay, so that is the group of the registers. 14 registers are grouped into these 5 types. Now here 8086 also having 20 address lines. Why we need 20 address lines? Why we need to talk about 20 address lines? And these address lines are merged with or multiplexed with the data lines, and they are representing as AD0 to AD15. Actually, this AD0 to AD15 is in the form of A0 to A15 and D0 to D15, and remaining address lines are A16 to A19. Right, this will be once again explain the pin diagram. But here these address lines are A0 to A19 are called as address lines, 20 address lines. So, but here the address lines are merged with the data lines AD0 to AD15. Why? Because data means, suppose I have thought of giving 1000 rupees for you, right? I'll say come to my home. Right, come to my home is called as address. After reaching my home, then only you will take your 1000 rupees. 1000 rupees is the data. So before coming to the address location of my home, you will not get your 1000 rupees money. Here 1000 rupees is called as data. Reaching my home is called as with the help of address. So that's why here at the time of address execution, data is not required. At the time of data execution, address is not required. So that's why here, right, address lines and data lines are merged, AD0 to AD15, right, because 16 data lines are there, right? So this because of this address lines only we are going to calculate the memory. So how we will see one by one, right? You know that register and memory are both are storage elements, right? Memory is outside of the processor, whereas register is inside of the processor. Right? Memory is outside of the processor, register is inside of the processor. Right? Whereas memory stores a huge amount of data, and register stores only few bits of data. So that's why these are the topics of registers and memory. Right? Now, where this memory and what is the advantage of memory? You see here, suppose if these are the components of computer, main components are hardware and software, right? Whereas hardware components are input, output, and CPU. CPU means here it will have ALU, control unit, and memory management unit along with registers. And this memory management unit is primary memory, RAM memory, ROM memory, and secondary memory is hard disk memory, CDs, DVDs, pen drives, and all. Right? These are all hardware section. And this is software section. Software is two types: system software and application software. Right? The system software means operating system. Different types of operating system is there: Windows operating system, DOS operating system, Unix operating system, Linux operating system, Solaris operating system. Like that, we're having so many operating systems. Whereas application software means MS Office, MS Paint, Logo, Tux Paint. Like that, these are all called as the application softwares. Today we are calling it as apps in the Play Store. They are all called as application softwares. But where this software will be stored? This software will be stored either in ROM or either in secondary memory. Right? You know that once you install operating system in your desktop computer, that will be stored by default in the C drive. Or we will choose where to store it. We will choose C drive. Right? So this C drive is a part of memory management of hard disk. Right, and this ROM, this read-only memory, is also storing the DOS operating system. That I'll show you one by one. Right, so software will be stored in the secondary memory or in the ROM memory. Then what is the advantage of RAM? We will see one by one. Okay, so that is the architecture of the computer. Computer system is having hardware and software. So this is the hardware part, and this in this hardware, now we are talking about memory. Memory is two types: primary memory and secondary memory. So in this primary and secondary memory, these two memories are called ROM memory, and secondary memory are called as, right, are types of memory: permanent memory and temporary memory. So permanent memory means ROM memory and HDD, hard disk drive memory. Whereas ROM is also called as volatile. Right? RAM is called as non-volatile. What is volatile and non-volatile? Right? ROM is a permanent memory. Even though there is a power failure, no loss of data. But RAM is a non-volatile. If there is a power failure, loss of data, this memory cannot store that whatever you are currently watching, that through this are stored in this RAM memory. Why? We will see one by one. Right. Here we have to remember ROM is a buzzword in terms of mobiles and tablets, whereas hard disk is a buzzword in terms of desktops and laptops for permanent memory. Right, to talk about the permanent memory or to store the data permanently, here we are the current applications are mobile phones and laptops. So ROM is a buzzword in terms of mobile phones and tablets, whereas hard disk is a buzzword in terms of desktop and laptop. So the main function of both ROM and hard disk is used to store the data permanently. Right. So see here, right, memory is outside of the microprocessor. So this is the place point we are talking now. Okay, now so memory is used to store this permanent memory. What it does, the permanent memory is mainly used to store system programs, right? Operating systems. In embedded systems, that permanent memory operating system is also called firmware, right? Apps, application software, and user data, audio files, video files, text files, images or photos, all are also will be stored by this permanent memory. Is called as permanent memory, and this permanent memory sometimes also called as permanent program memory, because ROM stands for read only memory, right? So here this ROM is stored. ROM is also called program memory or code memory. Means in this memory we are storing our programs, software or system software or application software. That's why these are called as program memory or code memory. Right. So ROM is a term in terms of mobile phones and tablets. Right. ROM is also called program memory or code memory. Why? Because what does it mean? ROM designed for storing of DOS and BIOS programs. Right. ROM also called program memory or code memory. It means it is used to store DOS or BIOS programs. What is DOS or BIOS programs? DOS stands for Disk Operating System or Basic Input Output System. Is also called booting programs. When you switch on your computer, how this computer is switching on? Because of this DOS and BIOS programs only. But the ROM also stores user data in mobile phones along with the operating system. Right, along with the mobile Android operating system, this ROM is also used to store permanent mobile applications, permanent data. Right, whereas this memory, right, memory is used to store data permanently on desktop or laptop is called secondary memory, like hard disk memory, floppy disk memory, CD or DVD. These are all called as the secondary memories. And in terms of desktop and laptop, we are using this terminology for storing of the data. Right. Next one is RAM. RAM stands for random access memory. Sorry, this is not a RAID. This is called a random access memory. Right, random access memory. It is an important memory in all the PCs like desktop, laptop, mobile, tablet PCs, notebooks, and all everywhere. You will see this random access memory for temporary storage of the data. Right, there is a temporary memory between ROM and processor is called as RAM memory. You see here, this is the RAM memory, and this is the hard disk or ROM memory, and this is the processor. Whenever we are fetching some data, right, and from the hard disk or from the ROM, that will not go into the CPU directly. Right, that will go through the RAM first, and from the RAM to CPU. Right, in order for a program to run, it needs to be loaded into RAM first. Right, so to speed up the operation, here we are loading the data into RAM memory. So how many applications you open, all are will be loaded into RAM before proceeding to the CPU. If you open number of applications, automatically system will become slow because RAM memory capacity is lesser than the hard disk or ROM memory. So according to that, we need to increase the RAM memory to open more number of applications. That's why in our mobile phones also we are increasing RAM memory to 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 6 GB or 8 GB of RAM we are taking because of people are wants to open more and more applications. That's why here we are using this RAM memory, right? So this RAM memory is also called random access memory or also called data memory. Right. Remember, ROM is called code memory or program memory. RAM is called as data memory. Basically used for processing. It is volatile in nature. It is also known as read-write memory. Right. RAM is also called as data memory. Or RAM is also called read-write memory. It holds instructions temporarily. It is smaller in size compared to storage of hard disk and RAM. Mostly used as main memory. Right, memory is stored in memory cells or chips, and any cell will be accessed at any time. That's why it is called as random access memory. Right, you see here what is RAM and all. Right, so here these are called as memory chips. Right, 8 memory chips because one memory chip can run 8 bits of data. So 8 chips are required to represent 64 bits of data, and these golden lines are called as pins. Right, and these pins are also called DIMM, and this is called as DIMM. DIMM stands for dual inline memory module. Right, right. You see in a first data is stored in the hard disk or RAM memory that is copied into RAM and RAM to CPU. Whenever CPU is required, the CPU will be taking the data from RAM. Right. And this RAM is also used to recently opened websites, recently opened files, all are stored in this RAM memory. Whenever you want to open the same website or same file, it need not go to the hard drive, right? Because the hard drive or ROM stores the application softwares and operating systems, so that will fetch the data from the CPU, right? So when it fetching the CPU, so speed of operation can be increased, right? Because it need not go to hard disk and ROM always. ROM also can store the recently opened websites and user files. So increasing the SAM will make the computer run faster and faster. So like this, we can use the RAM memory. Right, so that is the little bit about this. Why is RAM more important or needed for a computer than ROM is each device in a computer operates at different speeds, and computer memory gives your computer a place to quickly access the data. If the CPU had to wait for a secondary storage device like a hard disk drive, a computer would be much slower. Means always if we are going to fetch the data from the hard disk, it takes so much time. Instead of that, if you use in between one more intermediate memory, this memory will also store recently opened website addresses, recently opened user files, and recently opened user file locations. It will store whenever you want to fetch that same file or same website number of times. Suppose we are habituated to open every day Google, YouTube, Facebook, like that, and those files information will be stored by this RAM memory locations. Right. So from here itself, this processor will try to fetch the data always. Then so it can be speed up the operation. So that's why we need more and more RAM. So that is the need of increasing the RAM in our mobile phones or desktop computers. Today 4 GB or 8 GB is the minimum RAM speed. Okay, so keep in mind memory is having memory locations. See here, suppose this is the memory. It has so many memory locations, and each location can store 1 byte of data. Right, remember in the computer terminology, memory is having memory locations, and each location can store 1 byte of data. So first byte is represented as byte 0, second byte as byte 1, third byte as byte 2, and fourth byte as byte 3. Like that, we can write number of byte or memory locations. So byte 0 and byte 2 called even bytes or even memory. Byte 1 and byte 3 are called as odd memory. Right? So byte 0 means byte 0, byte 2 are called even values. 1, 3, 5, 7 are called as odd values. That's why it is called as even memory and odd memory. Right. So how to identify that memory locations? Each memory location identified with address is called memory address. So each memory location in the memory is identified with address. Right. So is called as memory address. So this topic is there in our syllabus. Memory addresses. Each memory location identified with address is called as memory address. Right. So here, how to represent that address? Byte 0 data or instruction stores at the in H86. We are storing like this 0005 Byte 1 stores at 401H. Byte 2 stores at 0002 address. Byte 10,48,576 stores at FFFFH. Why it is storing like that, we will see one by one. So byte 0 stores at this address, byte 1 this address, byte 2 this address, and the last byte 10,48,576 byte address is FFFF. Right, if you take that, it will be 5 only. Right, so this is 4, this is 1. Right, so because the address will be given by number of address lines of processor. Right, so how to calculate this address? Right, why I should take 10,48,575 as the last one, and why should I take first one as the byte 0? Right, why I'm taking it as 00050 to 5FH? Because address will be given by number of address lines of the microprocessor. If you have the doubt, you can see here, this is the processor and these are the address lines and these are the data. So in the address lines, right, in these memory locations, data has been stored. How this data memory location have been identified? These memory locations have identified by these address lines, right? Suppose I want so and so data, then I have to go to this address. I want data here, I have to go to address. Like that here, this is the relation between address lines and data lines. Okay, so here we are writing decimal notation and hexadecimal notation. See here, even value and odd value, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. These are all called as even values. So this is called as, and this is, right? So these are even values is called even memory address, and this is called as odd values or odd value address in decimal notation. Hexadecimal notation 000H to FFFEH are called as even values. Right, 0001, right here 1 0 is missed. 0001 to FFFH is called as odd value, so it's called as hexadecimal notation, and this is decimal notation because addresses will be given by number of address lines of processor. You see here, how many address lines are there in 8086? 20 address lines are there. So 2 power 20 is equal to 1 MB. 1 MB is nothing but 10,48,576. But that 10,48,536 is represented with 0 to 10,48,575. That's why here we need to write these values as shown in the tables of decimal notation, hexadecimal notation. Right, see how to write that one. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 8 zeros, 0, 0, because one hexadecimal is equal to 4 bits. 4 ones is F, 8 ones is 4 2 Fs, because 4 ones is equal to 1 F, 12 ones is equal to 3 Fs, and 16 ones equal to 4 Fs. 21 is equal to F, H. Now take 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4 you take is equal to 1 F is nothing but 1 MB, which is equal to 10,48,576. Right. So here the FFH is having how many bits? FFH is having 20 bits. Okay. Now understood? 808 equal to 1 MB. So this 1 MB of data is nothing but a representation of 20 bits or FFFFH. Right. So is known as memory addresses and physical address calculation in our syllabus. So this concept is called as memory addresses and physical address of calculation. Till now we have seen memory addresses, and today and now onwards we will see physical address calculation. Right. So that this block, this summation block is known as the address conversion mechanism or physical address calculation. Right. Why it is required? Right. This we have seen already. Right. 8086 has 20 address lines and it gives 1 MB of data. But the drawback is 8086 is having all the registers will be in terms of 16 bit. Right. So how can we convert 20 bits to 16 bits and 16 bits to 20 bits? That concept is called as physical address location, because 16 bits required, right? Means inside of the processor it is 16 bit, but outside of the processor it is 20 bits. So which is going to execute this 16 bits to 20 bits and 20 bits to 16 bits is called address conversion mechanism, right? So here you see, for example, I want to study this chapter or this another test section or this any one topic, right, in the textbook. How I can go there, right? That is the 1.4 subsection of the first unit, chapter 1. Right. So in the chapter 1, so this chapter 2, these are called as segments. Each chapter subtopics are called as segments. Offset. What is offset? Offset is a small portion is called as offset. Segment is nothing but chapters. right? So I could not read by staying at chapter 1 position. If I want to read 1.4, I have to go to the chapter location of that 1.4 page number, right, one by one. Otherwise, I can't read that 1.4. So for that, right, to physical address is a combination of segment registers plus offset registers. So segment registers are here: code segment, data segment, stack segment, and extra segment. And offset is given by instruction pointer, base register, source index, destination index, stack pointer, and base pointer. So these are the registers are called segment registers and offset registers to form the physical address of the memory, right? You know that how the memory is divided, right? So the memory has taken the 1 MB of memory lines have been divided into 16 logical blocks. Each logical block is equal to 64 KB. So 16 into 64 KB is called 1 MB. So these 16 logical blocks are called as segments. Out of it, 4 segments are used for different purpose, and they are known as segment register, right? They are known as code segment, data segment, extra segment, and stack segment. Code segment for storing of programs, data segment, extra segment for storing of data, stack segment is used for temporary storage of the data, right? Our instructions is known as stack segment. What is segment? Segmentation is the process in which the main memory of the computer is logically divided into different segments, and each segment has its own base address, and a segment is a logical unit of memory. This concept I was already explaining in the last presentation, so I am skipping here. Right, how to generate a 20-bit physical address here, you see. Right, so physical address is equal to segment address into 10H plus offset address. So the segment address is given by the segment registers and offset address is given by the offset registers. Now here you see, for example, the contents of segment register is shifted left side bitwise 4 times. Then the contents of an offset register is added to the result of the previous shift register operation. Then these two operations together produce a 20-bit physical address. Right. So for example, consider segment address is 2010H and the offset address is 3535H. And the physical address is calculated as, right, I have a number 10. Right. Multiply 10 with 10. How much? 10. If 10 is multiplied with 10, what is happening? It becomes 100. Means this 10 is shifted out by one more zero or not? Right. Next, you take 100, multiply with 100, then this 100 becomes 1000. Right. It is becoming 4 values instead of 3 values. Like that. Right. Like that, we add 0H on right side to the 4 hexadecimal number values becomes 20-bit address. Suppose 1347H is 16-bit value. Add 0H, right? It becomes 13470H. Why? Because you add 0001, 0011, 0100, 011 means this is 1347. Now we add 0, it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually 16-bit. Now it is becoming 20 bits. It is called as address conversion mechanism. Right. So here I have given, right, address conversion mechanism to convert. See, for example, offset value 16-bit. Segment register is, right, 16 bits plus shifted out by 4 bits. Now this segment register and offset is added by adder, then it gives physical address of 20 bits. Right. So for example, here you take, right, the content, the segment address is 2010 shifted by 4-bit positions with the zeros. Now this will be shifted here, this will be shifted here, and this will be shifted here, and this will be shifted here, and we are adding 4 zeros on right side. Then offset address is this one. Now add both. Then it gives the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexadecimal numbers. So 5 hexadecimal numbers is nothing but 20 bits of address. Right? If you Right. So now we will see. You see here, right? I have taken 6,000, but I am adding 0h. How it is added by hardware is called as 0h. Hardware is called as adder. Right? BA stands for base address. So this is called physical address because 20 address lines are there. So offset address is 16 bit. So base address is 16 bits with the 4 bit of 0. So I have taken 6,000 and 0h becomes 6000h. Offset address you see here, it is added. Understood? Like that we can calculate the physical address. So 8086 memory, this is one more topic of memory organization. So here I have shown already 8086 address have been divided into two banks, even bank and odd bank. But how this even bank and odd bank will be called? So this even bank and odd bank will be called by the two pins in the pin diagram, bus high enable and A0, right? Because address lines are A0 to A19. So in that A0 bit and bus high enable bit are used to take or used to call either 16 bit or is uh, 1 byte or 2 bytes of data of the memory locations. Right, so here this if bus I enable and A0 is 00, you can call 16 bits of data. If bus I enable is 0 and A0 is 1, upper byte of odd bank. So this is odd bank upper byte, right? If 10 lower byte even bank, so this is called even bank of lower byte. That is first one. First one is called as the lower value, and this is called as upper value. This is called lower value. This is called upper value. You take normal arithmetic also, this is 0 and this is 1. So definitely this is called lower value and this is called higher value. Now you take, this is the address location of 0002 compared to 3, this is lower. So definitely it will be called as lower and this will be called as higher. Right? So like that it will be called. When it is 1 and 1, no operation will be performed. You see here how it will be called from the higher memory or lower memory with the help of direction flag. If direction flag is 1, it calls data from the higher memory. If direction flag is 0, it will call the data from the lower memory. Right? So that is what we call the memory organization of 8086. Right. So this is the direction flag in the flag register of 8086. D stands for direction flag. This is the hexadecimal notation of that memory organization. Okay. So here you can see that what is the operation of BHE bar and A0. Okay. Already we have seen that. If the lower byte of the word is stored at even memory bank and the upper byte is stored at odd memory bank, then the CPU will require only one memory cycle. So it is better to store data in this way. So if the lower byte of the word is located at an memory address, then the CPU will require two memory cycles. The first memory cycle is required for accessing the lower byte of the word through the higher data bus 88 to D15, and the second memory cycle is required for accessing the upper byte of the word through the lower data bus D0 to D7. Right. So this in this way it will be execute this table. Right. 00 16 bits of data, 01 8 bits of data, 10 8 bits of data, 11 no operation is performed. Right. So this is the programming model of 8086. Programming model means To write down a program, what are the registers required is called as a program model. You know that in 8086 we are having 14 registers and each register width is 16 bits. But out of 14 registers, the 4 general purpose registers of AX, BX, EX, BX are also available in the form of 8 bits and 8 bits are bytes. So that is called as AH, AL, BH, BL, CH, CL and DHDL. So here H stands for higher byte and L stands for lower byte. So likewise, we can also have bytes of data, right? So this is what we call the program memory. And out of this ES, CS, DS, and SS, these are related to program memory. And here SP, BP, SI, DA are called as the offset memory, and these are called as segment memory. Segment memory with offset memory along with IP will give the physical address calculations. So we need to keep in mind when you write down the program in 8086 is called as programming memory. Sorry, programming model. So please, any questions, please ask me. And thank you very much.